Welcome to the Dub Show. I appreciate you guys, man. Check me out.
I caught an L at a young age, stretched out. Getting 24, homie, I got 5 out. Now on YouTube, trying to get a paper route. Coming till you know the deal, we on some grown shit now. What's cracking, everybody? New video. Welcome back to the channel. And let me start this video by saying the topic of today's video, not really the topic, the details of this video are outside of my comfort zone, but it's a story I felt like I wanted to tell because it's important that people understand how dangerous and how treacherous prison is. And how so-called friendships are going to come and go. At the end of the day, all you got is yourself, okay? Now, those of you that saw on my other channel, check out my other channel if you haven't seen it already, Dubess, D-U-B-E-S-S. There was a video that I did. It was a reaction video. I mainly do reactions on that channel. It was a reaction video I did to another channel called Free World Robert. Free World Robert did a video about doing time with me in New Folsom, right? And in that video, he spoke on things that he and I together were involved in that I never speak on. And since I was out there, I wanted to go ahead and touch on a story today regarding that time. I don't remember what year it was, but I remember it was my second time in New Folsom. And, I did have some responsibilities there. I was part of the leadership there. But it's important that people understand this. I was nobody, okay? Back before they let all the legends out of the shoe, there were people that were on the yards that were asked to be their eyes and ears, their mouthpiece, their hands and feet, right? And when they were asked to be that, the smart ones, like myself, knew we were nobody. We were just obligated and responsible for a lot of things. It's a big headache, right? But you really are nobody. You're just one person like everybody else. You just have a lot more responsibilities, right? So when you are in that role, and it's always more than one person, right? I'm not going to go into all the details. There is never going to be a time when you all see eye to eye, regardless that you have to work together and be successful together. There's going to be times when there's jealousy. People are going to be upset that, this guy has a little bit too much say or too much fed, too much dope, whatever it may be, right? So at the time of this story, there was some, I don't want to say infighting, but kind of like infighting. There was some ill will forming. And we all knew it, and there was certain people against certain people in that leadership position, right? And so I had a couple of buddies of mine that I knew from Pelican Bay, right? And we all came down from Pelican Bay to New Folsom around the same time. And we had each other's back, and we were all working to, make sure everything was smooth and whatever, what have you. Well, one of the guys, I don't want to say names, man, but it's so hard to tell this. Well, anyways, this guy and I got into business together as far as we started getting the bag. We started getting dope together. And we established a really good connect. And we were known to have probably the best quality dope on the yard, right? Neither one of us used. We're about making our money and taking care of our responsibilities, okay? He was not in a leadership position, didn't want to be. He just wanted to, make his feria and take care of who he was taking care of, all right? Well, I remember one weekend, instead of hitting heroin, getting a bag of heroin, all of a sudden he had a bunch of weed, right? I didn't smoke weed. He offered me some weed. I was like, nah, homie, you guys smoke that shit. Just keep it, homes. I'm good. Hey, gracias, homie. And I remember it was probably the next weekend or the weekend after that. He was waiting on some heroin to come in, right? And it was going to be coming through from another building, which is easy. There's no rush in that, right? You don't rush shit. That's how you mess stuff up. Well, he got impatient. He was coming out as a volunteer tier tender, and he was trying to have the stuff passed during school outline. 7 a.m. Could have just waited till yard. 9 o'clock. By 10, it would have been in his cell. He could do whatever he wants with it. But he was being very impatient. I was at my cell door and I could see the yard door. I could see, vatos getting ready to go out, getting patted down. And I could see the vato from the building that it was coming from. He shook a lunch bag and then put it back down, right? And so I knew, the homie saw that and knew, okay, it's in that lunch. So he stopped a homie that was actually from Sacramento, 47th Street or something like that. Stopped him and told him, hey, hand me your lunch, Holmes. Go out there and grab that lunch and bring it back. And when I saw that, I knew that's a mistake. You're not going to be able to get patted down empty-handed, walk out, grab a bag, and walk back in with that bag without that bag being scrutinized. But the youngster from Sacramento was like, I got you. He went out. He didn't tell him what was in it. He went out there, but he had an idea. He went out there, grabbed the bag, then tried to go back in and say he forgot his ID or whatever he tried to say. The first cop let him pass him. The second cop was a cop I've told a story about named RoboCop, right? And Robo was like, hey, let me see that bag. The homie made it past the cop, handed it off to the other homie. That's when the cop tried to tackle him. There was a scuffle. The clavo gets fucking caught up. And so the homie of mine, he goes to the hole. The homie from Sacramento, he goes to the hole. Now, my camarada, his cell, he's still in the cell, right? So I'm looking like fucking dumb, man. But that's their business. I didn't lose no money on that. He probably would have kicked me down a few grams, but I wasn't losing money, right? I was like, fuck, he's got to explain that. So he goes to the back. He goes to Ad Sig. Both of them go to Ad Sig. I come out later, and I go and talk to my camarada, the celly. And I was like, hey, well, what the fuck was homie tripping on? And he's like, fuck, homie, I don't know. But he seemed more stressed out than he should have been, right? So I was like, all right, Holmes, I got to go to work. I was yard crew. Now, I start noticing, they moved us. Right after that, they needed to do something to all the cells in our section. They were going section by section. They moved us all to one building, right? We were in 3 buildings. They moved us all to one building. And they were working on stuff. And every day, I saw one of the Crip shot callers at my camarada's door, right? But, they used to chop it up, so I wasn't tripping on it. And after about a week, the Crip shot caller comes to my cell. And he's like, hey, I just need to, let you know something, man. And I was like, what's up? And he says, hey, I think I'm going to have to whack your homeboy. And I was like, all right, first of all, this conversation's starting out wrong, eh? And he was like, what do you mean? I said, you're not whacking no Mexicans, period. I said, now we can discuss what this is about, but you ain't touching no Mexican. I guarantee you that. And he's like, well, look, man, that thing that got caught, that was mine. They were bringing that in for me. And in my head, it just like the back of my head exploded. Like, that's a definite no-no. That can't happen. And what was worse was my camarada that went to the back and was fighting that case had already sent word back out to the yard saying that that was actually hot dope. Anybody that knows what that means, you know what he was trying to say. I'm not going to go into that with everybody else, but he was saying that that dope was hot, meaning it was for a legend. And he was taxing the homie from Sacramento, and it was ugly, right? And so when this black dude, this Crip shot caller, comes and tells me it was actually his dope, the game just changed 1,000%. Because this dude lied on whose it was. He put a name on it that was somebody that had to be respected. And he was taxing someone else that he dragged into the mix. So I tell the Crip shot caller, hey, give me a minute, we'll take care of it. But you know, now that you involve me, I'm gonna go and talk to some people. So he's like, all right. He goes, I'll give you some time. I was like, yeah, well, you know, it's not my responsibility, but you dropped it in my lap. So I got the door cracked. I said I needed to go to the yard. Told him, give me a minute. I went upstairs. My camarada was already, he knew because he saw him walk from his cell to my cell. And he's like, whatever I got to do, Holmes. And I said, you know, this is all bad. I go out to yard. And I sit down with the other vatos that have some say on the yard. And like I said, there was already some ill will. It had already started. And when they heard that, as soon as we got together and sat down, one looked at me and said, man, what's going on with your crew? And then again, these were camaradas of mine. And the first thing out of my mouth is, we're going to whack them. I guess they thought, oh, he's not going to go against these dudes. They know each other from the Bay and this and this and that. No, that's the fact that, you know, this person came to me, this Crip dude, he was no joke. I knew the dude. He was no joke and was saying, I'm willing to do this. He was serious. And this goes to show when people think they can go to prison and do whatever they want. It doesn't matter. My camarada that went to the back, that was fighting the case, he had some juice. Doesn't matter. You fucked up and got selfish. What happened was they told him, hey, give me an ounce of weed and I'll give you an ounce of fucking heroin. Dumbest trade in the world. Only a dummy makes that trade. The amount of money you can make off an ounce of heroin compared to an ounce of weed. So, of course, the Crip was like, hell yeah, when am I going to get it? He said, you'll get it by this time. Look at what happened. It got caught up. So, because of an act of selfishness between these two dudes over here that were my camaradas, now I have to go ahead and tell everybody, let's go ahead and whack them. But see, they didn't expect that. They wanted feria. I'm not going to tell you what the final outcome was. But they paid a price. And the homie from Sacramento didn't have to pay shit. We made that abundantly clear. He was helping you in your stupid ass snake move. You know, and it was fucked up because it killed the friendship between the one that got busted and went through the hole and I. Because I had to be blunt with him. Tell him, you're lucky you're still breathing, Holmes. You know, but if you have a problem with what I felt you had coming, you can bring that up. But it's not going to be good for you. You were wrong. Let the shit die and it'll go away. You know, I wish that I could say that that individual learned from that poor decision. Instead, he kept making poor decisions. Later on, I was not surprised to hear that he did something in the cell. I don't know what he did to offend whoever he was in the cell with. Never asked who it was. But his cellmate wound up killing him. So this is a story basically to let people know, if you don't like being told what to do, if you don't like nobody in your business, then stay out here on the streets and get yourself together. This is also for those that think, oh, if I was there, I could do this, I could do that, I could do. There's a story for you. No matter what, no matter how slick somebody thinks they are, everything always comes out in the wash. With that, I'm going to go ahead and let you guys go. Hopefully you liked this video. If you did, hit the like. If you didn't, hit the thumbs down and let me know what you didn't like about it. If you feel somebody you know would like the video, share it with them. If you're not already subscribed, subscribe to the channel. Let's grow this thing together. With that, stay safe. Stay smart and tell the ones you love that you love them. I'm out.